So this video is not really going to be me complaining about looking young or anything. I'm just going to talk about it. So today I walked into the Circle K to pay for gas for my mom who was driving, and the cashier guy, first he comments about my bow. I don't know what he said, just like, alright, girl with a bow, step on up, you know, like, you didn't have to do that, you could have just been like, next, but whatever. I guess he gets bored at his job, and he wanted to spice it up a little, so he pointed out, like, you know, the big obvious bow on my head, and I was like, after that, he proceeded to say, you going to prom? And I was like, well, I'm not in high school anymore. So then he was like a little embarrassed, and then I was like, but I look the same as I did when I was in high school. So tried not to make him feel as bad, but he still was awkward, but whatever. I'm sure he like bothers people all day, like, and points things out about their looks all day long. So whatever. I didn't really take it personally because I get that all the time, that I look young. So then I went out to the car, and then my mom put gas in her car, and she needed change because she had already filled up her tank. So I went back in for her, and then like there was something going on with their computers, like they were freezing up in the Circle K, and like the one guy was like, my computer is freezing up, and the other guy's like, I'll help you. And then he went to help him, and he's like, it's not working. So to make it less awkward in the building for everyone, because there had been like a longer line of people now, to make it less awkward, you know, and to please the customers and like keep it a positive environment in there, even though everybody was waiting on them because their computers were frozen. The same guy that said something about prom earlier, like 2 minutes earlier when I was just in there, he said something else about me going to prom, and I was like, I thought this was over. I thought prom was way over, like 5 years ago, but I guess not. Prom is still alive and well today. Yes. So he goes ahead and he says, hey you, we gotta hurry up and get these computers going up and running again before this girl goes back to prom. And I was like, good one. And then I said, and then I was like, never again, like, you know, because implying that high school, you know, was horrible and nobody likes high school, or, you know, like that cliche joke, you know, because I'm sure there's some people who like high school, but like, I was just like okay with high school. Like I didn't have a blast, but it wasn't like I was getting like completely bullied by mean girls or anything. Actually, I guess you could call it a boring high school experience. I didn't really party. I went to prom my senior year, and it wasn't like that great. I went with my sister. I didn't even go with a boy. Did not have a date to prom. But I did go. There have been many instances where people have pointed out that I look young. And I try to maybe blame it on, oh, maybe I just look like I'm inexperienced, because maybe I am in some ways. Maybe I just naturally have baby face, and that's a thing. People just seem to notice. Or maybe I dress like I'm 12. Who knows? Maybe those are all the reasons that I look young. But it's just interesting. Very interesting to me. Very interesting that people like to point it out all the time. People usually think I'm between the ages of 16 and 18. I'm 23 now, but when I was 20, people thought that I looked 16. You know, and now 3 years later, I've grown. I'm more a woman than I was before. I've evolved as a young, independent black woman in America. Now that I've matured a little bit more, you know, 3 years later, now finally, I look like an adult because people say that I look like I'm 18 years old. So we're going to get there. We're going to get there. But, you know, we're not there yet. You can look young for your age, and that can be something that makes you feel bad about yourself. But there are pros to it, as well as cons. And you just learn to live with it. It's not really hindering you, and there's nothing really wrong with it because you haven't done anything wrong. It's just the way that you look. Maybe you get carded more often. Maybe people judge you and think you're inexperienced more often. Or they just assume that you don't know what you're doing, or that you need help, or that they're going to tell you what you need to do because they know, because they're older and wiser and more mature. So, I guess those are cons, because those are things that are more like annoyances that you have to deal with, you know, often, maybe daily, maybe weekly. But there are pros, and the pros are, you know, you can get away with looking younger in photos or films if you're an actor and they need somebody who looks younger. Maybe you can pull that off for longer. You can just enjoy looking younger, and then when you really are old enough to look like an adult versus an adult that looks like a minor, I'm guessing when I'm like 28, I'll finally look like I'm 22, I guess. I don't know, 23. When I'm 28, I'll probably look the age I am now, if that makes sense. So, I'll be almost 30, and I'll still look like I'm in my early 20s. So, how cool is that? Not everybody can say that they're almost 30 and they look like they're still 20-something, like early 20-something. So, I guess that's a pro in a way. So, other than, like, getting, you know, sort of ridiculed by older, more mature people, looking young isn't such a bad thing. So I'm pretty sure the reason that man pointed out that he thought I was going to prom is because prom is happening. It's happening in my backyard. Do you see that? There are strobe lights, there is music, there are decorations, photos, everything. For real. So yeah, the world makes sense. No, but I really do think that prom is going on tonight at maybe one of the high schools in my neighborhood, because I saw like big old group of people like standing in the street, kind of taking pictures in suits. And that was like as I was driving back from back to my house. So yeah, I guess prom is going on tonight, so there are reasons for everything. And that's the reason that the guy at the Circle K pointed out that he thought I was going to prom. Just thought I'd let you know, so you didn't have to wonder, and you didn't have to think that he was being completely random, because he wasn't, and there was a context involved. So yeah.